There we go, a bit of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Would you know any of those artists, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young?
Nash Young? I know Nash Young.
Yeah, quite a good tune. Anyway, as mentioned previously, before I played that tune, we have Laurie in here from is that the Rotary Club of Palm Beach that you're representing today, Laurie?
It is, Nick, it is, but the Catalpa Festival, which is made up of quite a few members from Rotary, Palm Beach Rotary, it's actually not sponsored by it's not actually under the auspices of the Rotary Club, because we run the annual Beach Cup, the big horse race on the beach.
That's not happening this year.
It's not happening this year, no, but unfortunately it was too much for the club to carry on both. So we just hived off a bit. So this is the third Catalpa Festival.
Yeah.
And of course Catalpa was the American whaling ship that came off Garden Island 149 years ago and picked up 6 Irish Fenians who'd escaped out of Fremantle prison.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Now, there are nearly 100,000, what am I saying? There's nearly 800,000 West Australians, if they go back to their coming to Australia, have Irish in their ancestry. So,
800,000?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so when you look at the stats for Irish in Western Australia, they say, 8 to 10%. But if you look at a person like me, I'm 5th generation West Australian. And 3 of my 4 original people who came to Australia, they were actually Irish. So, you know, I'm not Irish directly, but I have it in my ancestry.
DNA.
Yeah, and so is a lot of other people. You know,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I would have thought maybe English more so than Irish, I would have thought.
Well, obviously they're certainly outdone by people who ended up coming from England.
Yeah.
But then again, we're 3 million people.
Yeah.
So that's still less than a third.
No, true.
So you look at it that way, you know. But so on Saturday we've got this amazing event from 3 o'clock in the afternoon till 9 o'clock at night. Of course, that's to celebrate the fact that Catalpa took place, that these 6 prisoners actually got away and went to America. One of the big features of Saturday will be the West Australian Navy Band. They're playing for us as a special treat, and they're going to be there for quite a while. Irish dancing, food vans, a lot of Irish history. We've got a museum tent. We're expecting lots of people.
So, I mean, I don't know about yourself, Joy and Rihanna, but were you aware of this before?
I actually had not heard of this situation before, but I'm more than happy to listen and learn about it.
Yeah,
It
it's
sounds
amazing.
like a really amazing event to come and have a look at.
They do. There's so many amazing events in Rockingham that we never hear about, and this is a perfect example.
Well, oddly enough, we've got a very good ally in Paul Papalia, one of the ministers, and he is of the same mind as ourselves. In 2029, it'll be 200 years since this colony was founded. In that 200-year period, there have been a couple of major happenings off the coast of Western Australia. The sinking of the Sydney.
Yeah.
And, of course, something which very few people know about, the Catalpa, which was a rescue of 6 people sent by a whaler on the east coast of America. So, but, of course, it caused the government of the day, or it caused the colony of the day, enormous embarrassment. So that's been pretty much suppressed in all these years. So basically, it might be Irish history, but more importantly, it's West Australian history.
Yeah.
Which more people should become aware of.
Agreed.
Paul Papalia's picked up on that. He said, well, look, why don't we think about maybe making next year, 2026, which is 200 years since those Irish blokes got away, why don't we look at making a big Irish festival? Because a festival that reaches from Bunbury right through to Fremantle, including Rockingham, of course.
So where is this event specifically? And you mentioned food vans and the band.
Churchill Park.
Oh, it's at Churchill Park.
Yeah, just on Churchill Park. Churchill Park down to Bell Park. So that'll be what we're doing on Saturday from 3 o'clock until 9 o'clock will occupy the entire park of Churchill Park. Okay. And I hear the temperature's going to be about 31, so it should be
nice
a beautiful night.
Yeah.
Not too much wind.
So what will, I think you mentioned your museum there. Will there be other things there as well?
There'll be a stage, there'll be a lot of Irish cooking.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and there'll be food vans there that will really look after when you want to come and have dinner. If you want to, bring a picnic blanket, bring your families and friends. Irish music, dances, storytelling, and all that sort of stuff.
Wow!
Yeah, and we've got pictures of the people that got away. We've got some storyboards there, about 20 of them that give you the whole lowdown on what happened in 1876.
It's amazing, really, isn't it? Like how much, I don't know about yourself, John, well, I'm a lot older than you, so I don't have an excuse, you do. It's amazing how much history is involved here that we don't know about.
Well, Nick, you and I are about the same age. I might have a few years on you, but we just didn't have enough pushed into us at school. But from what I can gather, history is not exactly a very widely taught subject these days either. And when you think about it, the history of Western Australia is remarkable, really.
When I was going through high school and stuff, all of history class was just talking about the world wars and stuff. And I did World War II 3 years in a row because I don't think they could think of anything else to teach me.
No.
I would have much rather if they'd teach me more about like Western Australian history or just more Australian-centred history.
West Australian history, even talked to us about the Constitution.
Yeah.
How many people have read the Constitution of Australia?
I haven't.
A very good friend of mine just gave me it's like a little book you can put in your back pocket, and that's a condensed version of it. And I must admit, it's fascinating, but here am I, 81, and I read that first time last year when I was 80. So really, it doesn't say much for our education system.
It doesn't, does it? Like, no. It's almost like sometimes, I don't just generally, it's almost like we're embarrassed about our history.
Yeah.
It seems that way.
It does, doesn't it?
And there's nothing that any of us should be apologetic in this country because we've got that much freedom.
We're a very privileged country to have that kind of freedom. I think we're kind of squandering it a little bit with our history and education.
I agree. I just, there seems to be other issues which dominate if you like, the headlines, which you think, well, shouldn't they be talking about, something else, whether it be the news or whatever. I find it a bit disenfranchised, that's a word.
Disconcerting.
It's a bit disconcerting that you think, why? I forget what the lead story was on the news the other day, and I thought, why on earth is that the lead story? When there's that many other things that we could be discussing.
It's disingenuous to what we really need to, hear about.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
But that's very interesting. So you're obviously a very proud West Australian, Laurie?
Very much so, Nick. I owe this country so much. I brought up a family, ran a pharmacy business. Rockingham was so good to us. We've tried to put as much back as we can. And through Rotary and a lot of other things, we've I think we've helped to make Rockingham a better place. And now with 150, I still find it hard to believe we're 150,000 people. Because when I came here in 1970, we had 6,000 people. 6,000.
Are you kidding?
No, that's all. A beautiful little town. And you know what? It's still a beautiful place because we've got ocean pretty much all around us.
Yes, we do.
We're on a peninsula. Yeah. And I know we stretch back to Baldivis now, but nonetheless, where would you find a better place than Rockingham?
It's really, it's a bit of a conundrum we had in the upcoming election. I was chatting to all the parties in there. And I find one of the, as I say, conundrums is that there's that line between, let's just say Point Perrin as an example, do we modernise that to a degree, or people say it's pristine, leave it alone? And you being a Rockingham person, what's your opinion on that?
Well, I think it should be number 3. Number 1, I would say, is Kings Park. Imagine Perth without Kings Park. Number 2 is Rottnest. Imagine Perth without Rottnest. And you look at the authorities that have been set up specifically for Kings Park.
Yeah.
The authorities have been set up specifically for Rottnest. And the third area should be Point Perrin. In fact, Point Perrin should be so unique. It should be developed into an area that people can come and enjoy it, go to a nice restaurant there, enjoy nature. Do you know there's a hot water artesian basin under Point Perrin? We could even develop a health spa there.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think that there were a couple of people who were involved when I chatted to them, and they said and I think one of the things, it's hard to get between tourism and keeping it as it was. And one of the things which surprised me, and you would notice better than me, Laurie, is that if you want to go to Point Perrin, there's no transport there. You go on, is it Safety Bay Road? And then you've got to walk there, and there's no footpaths or whatever there. So it's hard for people to get there if they want to go there.
You can drive, of course, to a car park at the end there, but of course there aren't any toilets there, are there?
No.
So, you know, I mean...
And I think it's a great spot, don't get me wrong.
It is. And talk about people keeping it the way it was. It has been kept the way it was.
Yeah.
But I think that we could make it into a place that people could just shake their heads and say, isn't this extraordinary?
Yes, that's the thing. I think, like you say, the Kings Park and Rottnest, you know, it's absolute a jewel in the crown.
And unique.
And I think it, you know, if you say to somebody from over east, you know, where are you going to go? I'll go to Kings Park, I go to Fremantle, and I go to Rottnest. Or, funnily enough, nowadays, Laurie, I think they say, I'm going to go to Mantra now, because it's got the thing. But if you say, what about Point Perrin? They go, what's that? And it's an interesting thing.
You're right. What would Rockingham people want to show off? Mind you, put them in a boat and go for a trip around Garden Island, Point Perrin, etc. in the ocean, and the islands of Shoalwater is glorious.
Yeah.
But we could enhance those and make them into something really, really better.
I think so, yeah. But
put the penguins back onto Penguin Island, all this sort of stuff.
Yeah. But it's an interesting thing, is to say, and I think that's the thing with everything. You've got to think between progression and keeping things as they were, and I think you've got to get sort of a happy medium.
You do. Yeah.
So Churchill Park on Saturday.
Yep. Come at 3:00, and we'll entertain you right through till 9:00.
And there's no entrance fee?
No entrance fee at all.
There you go. So it's
come in and have fun.
Oh, you got me with the Irish, if there's Irish cooking there.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. They're wonderful people.
Do you know what they say, again, Laurie, that the Irish people and Australian people are all almost like kindred with their personalities. You know, go out, have a good time, have a laugh.
There's a lot of Irish in us.
Yeah, I think there is.
You know.
So,
it must come out in me. I don't know how, but it must. When I meet the Irish, I must admit they're different people. You know, I've been dealing with the Irish now for about 6 years, getting Catalpa off the ground, etc. And for the first year or two, they were very friendly with me, etc. But they're a little bit standoffish, and they never ever said it, but they didn't quite know what my motives were. Were they trying to make money out of them? What was my angle? And then when they found out I was Rotary and that I was doing it with the sheer love of it, trying to put right a bit of maritime history in Western Australia, which was sadly lacking. Then they're all over me like a rash now.
Yeah.
They realise I'm dinkum. And that's not an Irish word.
No, it's not. Oh, well, look, thanks for that. So we'll just, we do it again. We'll just give you another plug. It's Catalpa, Catalpa. It's a Catalpa festival. So it's on Saturday from 3 o'clock until 9 o'clock. There's a little bit of an Irish museum and storytelling there. Have the Navy band there. We'll have food vans there. We'll have Irish cooking there. So, and all this entertainment is for free. So all I can say is get along.
The council's one of our main sponsors. They've done a wonderful job assisting us with this too.
Okay, well, I haven't got any Irish music on.
That's okay, Nick.
I've got the Corrs. They're Irish, I think.
Maybe, I'm not too sure.
You mean not too sure? No, they are.
They are?
Hey,
Okay. I've heard them.
Van Morrison is a Irishman.
Is he ever?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, right.
But I haven't got him. I can't play him because I haven't got him on my list. So we'll go with a bit of Donald.